I want to acknowledge you all for your interest in this training. I'd like to have about 10 people in the training, and I think we're on our way now because I know there are a few people that aren't here that are going to be in the training. And I have to say that it's a racer training. We're going to train for the Hapalua half marathon, and there are going to be several races that I've built into the program. And so I'll talk more about that, of course, but most of you have been in my marathon training before. And I'm gonna say a few things to start about the difference between this and the old marathon training. The old marathon training was where we met in groups at a certain location 3 times a week. And there's going to be an element of that in this training. We will meet once a week all together at a certain location. And I'll explain more about that later. But that aspect of the training, I know that that's what most people who have done my trainings before want. And so I'm going to accommodate you to a certain extent, but this is really a training for the pandemic. It's we're in the age of pandemic, and the only real way to be safe, to my way of thinking, is to do what we're going to call the telephone conference call workouts, and that means that you'll be on a Zoom telephone conference call during the workout, and you'll hear me just like you're hearing me now, but you won't see a picture of me, and you won't see a picture of other people in the group, but you'll be able to listen to them and hear them. And what I want to suggest is that the telephone's conference call way of doing things is a new medium, and it's different. It's a very different medium from the old show up and do a workout, follow the leader kind of workout that we used to do. There, you kind of played musical chairs. You went from one person to another. You talked story, chit chat for however long the workout was. You follow the group leader and didn't have to think too much about things. This is different. As Candace knows, as Karen knows, I think Maiju has been around too. And so I'll give you a sense of the kinds of ways that it's different. First of all, listening is really important in a training like this. You're running along and you're all alone. You can leave from work or you can leave from home. Wherever you want to leave from, that's where the workout starts for you. And as you're jogging along or running along, you'll hear other people talking, and you'll also hear me. And my job is to listen and to kind of facilitate the discussion or the conversation. Sometimes it's a discussion, sometimes it's a conversation. Quite often, I'm going to be teaching or facilitating the workout. And so that means that you're listening to me, and then I might be listening to you in terms of how you're doing. What are you doing? How's it going? What does it feel like? So I'm listening to you, you're listening to me. Listening is really important. It's kind of like we're going to be going into kind of a deep dive of friendship. So in the old system where you ran along and made friends with people, there's no question about that. But I think that a lot of times the discussion or the chit chat was kind of shallow. You know, it it was fun. It was interesting. People enjoyed it. They kept coming back because that was what their friends were doing. But in this situation, we're going to have that opportunity on the weekends, but we'll also have the opportunity to really hear at a deep level what people are thinking and how they're feeling about certain things. And so you're going to make friends. You're going to be in kind of an intimate setting with a group of people. And so the people that are on the screen right now are the people that you're going to be relating to and listening to. And our experience is that in the process, you're going to come away with some very good friends that you know rather intimately. So I'm going to leave it kind of there for the moment. About let's call it the listening and the friendship aspect of what we're doing. So let me go back now to the racer idea. If you're an intermediate, like I suspect that Candace is kind of at the intermediate level, maybe wants to be at the intermediate level, not necessarily wants to be a full-on racer, trained for racing. You could do this training as an intermediate. In other words, learning the basic skills, because I'm going to be teaching the basic skills of running. And most of the people that are going to be in this group are, you want to be racers, but you also have to be knowledgeable about the skills of running, the habits of running at the racer level and the intermediate level, because you can't really be a racer unless you're also an intermediate. In other words, you know what the intermediate level knows and the skills that they've developed. So that's the first point. You can be an intermediate and still do this training. The kinds of skills and habits that we're going to be developing. First of all, a racer is somebody who is going to be doing at least three workouts a week, and probably up to about 5 workouts a week. So we'll do 3 moderate workouts scheduled. I'm going to go into the schedule in a minute, but you could also be doing 3 other workouts. So you could be running as many as 6 workouts a week. And there's no reason why not. If you like running, if you like walking, jogging, you could do a workout every day. Why not? The fun of it, the pleasure of it, the skills of it, practicing, and just the fitness exercise, the fact that you can be out there for, let's say, anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, and at a certain point in just about every workout, you'll get the feeling that you've done something today, and it's gonna make you feel better afterwards, and you'll also sleep better during the night for having done the workout. And why not every day have the same feeling where you've done a workout and you're going to sleep well as a result? And so the training, the 3 workouts plus at the racer level, the option of doing a couple workouts more a week, or maybe even 3, or maybe even 4 workouts where you're running every single day. Again, why not? you could do easy workouts on your off days. So we're going to do moderate workouts, and the easy workouts are short and slow, basically. You know, a short could be 30 minutes, or it could be 40 minutes, or it could be 50 minutes, but probably not 60 in this group, or 70. And slow means conversational breathing, you know, just cruising along at what feels like a slow pace for you. And so the moderate workouts, I'm going to go into that. You'll see what those are going to be like. But I'm just putting out the possibility that if you're interested, you could do easy workouts on your off days and get some benefit from it. You know, for training purposes, you know, you'll be stronger for the race, especially since it's a half marathon. You know, it's a pretty long distance, but also just for the fitness and the feeling of being fit and being training every day. So please keep that in mind. We're going to, I'm going to start sharing my screen now so that you can see a few things. This is the Hapalua Half Marathon training schedule. And I'm going to talk about this for a few minutes, and I'm also going to show you some things about the training process that'll kind of make some of this a little more understandable. First of all, is there anybody that can't see what's on my screen now? It's the Haupalua half marathon training. Can you see what I can see? If you can't, please let me know. So there are 3 workouts a week that we're going to do. And so I'm calling one workout the Sunday workout. It could be Sunday, or it could be something else. And then another workout I'm calling the Tuesday workout, and then there's a Thursday workout. And so the workouts will go down underneath the heading here. And so the first workout, number 1 workout, I'm calling the Sunday workout, will be the LSD, long slow distance, or race day workout. And so let me just quickly give you a sense of what the long distance workout schedule will look like. First of all, there are going to be 3 races. Johnny Farber, the King's Runner 10K. Johnny Farber is a 10K, by the way. King's Runner is also a 10K. And that's part of the Haupalua training. You know, it's put on by the same Marathon Association people that put on the Haupalua Marathon. Haupalua is down at the end, and that's week 14, as you can see, if you can see over to the side there. And then going back up, I counted 6 different workouts that are on the Haupalua half marathon course. So since that's our goal race, we're going to meet on the weekend sometime at a certain place so that we can do parts of the Haupalua course in sequence, more or less in sequence. And so, for instance, we're going to start on the 6th week, I believe it is. Hang on one second, let me confirm. Yeah, on the 6th week, we're going to be at Magic Island, and we're going to do the town loop of the Haupalua half marathon course. And then let's see now, on the 8th week, we're going to be at the Waikiki Shell parking lot in Kapiolani Park, and we're going to do another section of the course. And some of these sections are going to overlap, but my point is that some of the long runs are going to be on the Haupalua course. And so you'll learn the course pretty thoroughly during this training, so that when you come to do the Haupalua half marathon, you're going to know exactly where you are, what's going on, how far you are into it, how far the race is. You can visualize it because you've done all the different sections. And so, hang on one second. Sorry, that probably hurt your ears there. Knocked my microphone over. The longest run is 2.5 hours. So we're not training for a marathon. We're training for a half marathon. And in my opinion, 2 hours or 2.5 are long enough. That's long enough for a half marathon for anybody in this training. And so you can assume, let's say, I think I've got 1 2.5 hour run. I've got 2 2-hour runs. Oops. And then I have 1 2 to 2.5 hour run in there. And the rest are, probably a little shorter than 2 hours or 2 hours thereabouts. Some of that will depend on who you are and what kind of shape you're in and what your own standards are for the training. Okay, now, the second progression here is for hills. And you're going to have your own course to do hills on. And I'm going to have you think in terms of repeat hills. In other words, repeating a certain hill. It's going to be, I want you to do, I'm going to show you what kind of hill I want you to do. But the point is that you'll be trying to find a hill that's runnable, number one. And it's also, it's not so steep that, you can't run it. And it's also, it's not going to blow you away because you're going to have to do between 20 and, let's look down, the 35 minutes of uphill running per workout. And so we start with 20 minutes, we go to 25 minutes. As you can see, I'm pointing out the numbers here. So then we go 10 minutes right before Johnny Farber, we're tapering. And then we go 25, 30, 10 just before King's Run. And then we're recovering 0 minutes up on the hills after Johnny Farber and the King's Runner 10K. And then we go 30, 35, 20, 0 again just before Haupalua. So you're going to have a constant stimulus, effort stimulus, where hills are concerned. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. Then the third progression is a tempo interval workout progression. And what that means is that you're going to be practicing mostly a 10K tempo during these workouts, and you're going to be doing intervals. And again, the exact way that you'll be doing them, I'll explain that in a bit. But the duration of the intervals, we're going to do 20 minutes, 24, then 8 minutes, 18, 24, 30, 10, 20, 35, and 40 minutes, and then down to 20, down to 0. Now, what that means is that you'll have a constant tempo stimulus, week in, week out, the same constant tempo stimulus. And so that by the time you get to, the first race, the second race, and then the Hapalua at the end, you'll know your pace, and you won't be in the least bit intimidated by it, because you will have done it so many times for so many minutes and so many workouts. And those are the three kinds of workouts. Now, I'm going to go into a few more aspects of the training schedule so that you can understand what's going on here. Tonight is an orientation on, let's say, whenever we do the next workout. I'm calling it Thursday, but it doesn't necessarily mean Thursday. We'll come back to scheduling in a little while. But the tempo workout that we'll do next is actually, it's not going to be a tempo workout. It's going to be what I'm going to say call the basics. So I'm going to both teach and set the context for the kinds of things that we're going to do as a matter of course, kind of routine during the training, where, for instance, you warm up at a very slow pace, and then we're going to do some stretching activity, and then we'll go on with either the hills, the long run, or the interval part of the workout, and then finish up, maybe if there's time afterwards, with some jogging to finish the workout, to finish the duration for that particular workout. So now the 2 weeks that begin this weekend, they're the ones that are in this kind of a red color here. And that there, I want to explain what this is now so that you understand. The first 2 weeks of the training are kind of, they're an orientation. There's a lot of teaching, learning that goes on. And it's also a trial period for you. It's an enrollment period where you have an opportunity to check out the training, check out the other people, check out me, check out how we're doing things and whether it's working or not for you. And what I'm asking is that you pay me a $50 non-refundable deposit in order to come into this first 2-week session, the enrollment period. And at the end of the first 2 weeks, then you can pay the remainder or the balance of the tuition, which will be $200. So the total tuition is $250 total. $50 is non-refundable deposit, and the 200 is optional depending on whether you want to continue. The $50 is going to be more than worth it, I guarantee you, because of the stuff that you're going to learn. Let me just give you a quick idea of that. We're going to meet on 16th Avenue in Kaimaki, 16th and Claudine, and we're going to run Claudine, 13th, and the hills above, so that I can teach you about hills, intervals, and running form, and work with you on making sure that you understand how to run hills, how to do the intervals, and how to use correct running form to give yourself the best chance, if you will, to run efficiently and powerfully. And so that's the first workout. Then we'll do hills, and then intervals, and then we come back to 16th Avenue, and we're going to do some long hill intervals, so that you get to decide whether what you're doing, the experience that you've had running hills to that point, kind of coincides or is in there with the concepts that I'm going to be teaching you about running hills. Same thing with the intervals. So I'm going to teach you about the intervals, and I'm going to teach you about the hills. so that you do them correctly, because you're going to be on your own. You know, sometimes maybe you'll have somebody that you're going to be running with on the weekend, and so you can help one another out there. But most of the time, unless you have a partner that you're going to train with on the other days, you know, besides the weekends, you're going to be running on your own. So you have to know how to pace yourself. You have to know how to do the workouts. And that's what I'm going to be teaching you during the first couple of weeks. Now, if there are any questions, I'll entertain them right now, but I'm going to hang on a second. I have to get Shauna in here. Hi, Shauna. I apologize. I might have missed you the last few minutes. I hope you weren't hanging out waiting to come in. But anyway, we're talking about the training and the schedule at the moment. Are there any questions about that before I move on to another way of looking at the schedule?
Brian, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So we're all going to be meeting together just on the Sunday workouts.
Yeah, the weekend. Let's call it the weekend workout.
Weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Is there another question that goes along with that?
No, I just was trying to confirm that those were the only dates that we're going to be, the only days of the week that we're going to be in a kind of a group setting.
Yeah, they are at the moment.
Okay.
Remember, I'm not trying to do the marathon training again. I'm not. Let me speak to that for a moment, because I had to kind of clarify this with Candace earlier, and so it may not be clear to you either. I've retired from doing marathon trainings, and that's not to say that I'm not going to train you for the marathon later this year. I will, but it's going to be in this context. It's not going to be in what do you call the show up and meet at Church of the Crossroads ever again. It's partly because I don't want to do it anymore. I did it for 40 years and I don't want to do it again. And partly because I don't believe in it as being the best way to teach people about running. And more than anything, I was very frustrated in the last few years because I couldn't teach what I wanted to teach about running. And so this new venue or system gives me an opportunity to do what I want to do, which is teach people about running and train you at the same time. And so you'll learn, and you'll I think you'll be a better and stronger and more competent runner as a result. And this is not to say that you weren't, competent or whatnot before, but I think you will be more competent now. And so that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. And I hope to continue, and I hope to get more people involved. I think, one of the things I think that people are beginning to realize now is that COVID is not going to go away anytime soon. And it could get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. And as a result, we may not be able to meet regularly face-to-face or person-to-person if it gets, too dangerous. It certainly would be dangerous if we had a group of 30, 40, 50 people like we've had, or up to 100 people like we've had. I don't know that I can do that anymore. And you were there, Mark, when we shut it down in 2020, March 2020. You know what that was like. So, okay.
So Brian, I'm sorry. The weekend workouts, are we still going to be running on our own? We just
No.
are. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll do some things on your own, but as much as possible, I want to pair people up so that you're running with somebody or in a small group. If we have enough people to form a group, great, we will. Ability groups I'm talking about.
Mm.
I'm not opposed to that. I think it's a great way to bring people together, but I want to make it clear that I'm not going to go back to groups of 8, 10, 15 people and major gatherings of 50 to 100 people. That's just not going to happen, I don't think, on my watch, at least in the near future. I don't see it happening. Good questions, Mark. I know everybody else is thinking about the same thing. Now, I'm going to help you understand, I hope, a little bit about what it means to do a stamina workout as opposed to let's call it endurance workout. So what's the difference between stamina and endurance? And I'm going to show you the first several lessons of the short course on the Hard Easy system so that you can start to pick up some of the concepts that I use to train people and that you can pick up in this training so that you can train yourself better. And so I'll share my screen now with that. Hang on one second. Again, if you can't see my screen or if there's any issue, please interrupt and tell me what's going on. So this is an introduction to the Hard Easy system. The Hard Easy system is an 11-lesson course that describes the training system used in all BC Endurance fitness programs. The purpose of this brief course is to teach racer-level athletes the concepts they need to understand and solve. Oops, I think I did something wrong. I might need your help again, Candace. How did I turn off?
The sound?
Yeah.
If you do the screen share, I don't know what you're playing the sound on, but you also want to do the
Racers
can
get faster at their chosen racing distance, whether the mile or the marathon. Racers could be runners, joggers, or walkers, but they're all experienced in the competitive game and they know how to read their body. This course on the Hard Easy system assumes that all endurance athletes can become more effective racers by reading and responding correctly to the sensations their body gives them during training. Racers understand that effective training is based on an awareness of the physical sensations accompanying or encompassing effort and energy. You don't need complex instrumentation to train correctly, especially where effort is concerned. What's needed is a willingness to pay attention to the way your body feels. These photos show two ways of experiencing intensity during a race, from comfortable to uncomfortable. In this brief course on the Hard Easy system, we will focus closely on the intensity component of exertion. It's one of many ways you'll learn to read your body and its sensations of effort and energy. In lesson 1, we begin with a basic training principle that every workout is fundamentally an exertion structure. A workout's exertion structure determines the racing ability it will build, whether stamina, power, tempo, speed, or endurance. In other words, the ability building purpose of a workout is inseparable from its exertion structure. For example, all light exertion workouts, such as this one in red, build stamina, the ability to run long and slow. One of the ways we can measure light exertion is to consider your breathing, which is conversational at the light exertion level. There are 5 components of exertion, including heart rate, breathing, power, tempo, and intensity. The components of exertion are each immediately accessible during every workout as measurable and distinct ranges of physical sensation. Your success in the training and racing game depends on your ability to adjust your pace according to these 5 exertion scales, including the scale for measuring changes in your breathing. So suppose you wanted to pace yourself during a marathon according to your breathing. In this example, breathing rises from normal at the start of the race to huffing in the second half. In this sense, even a long race such as this 5-hour marathon can be viewed as an exertion structure, with breathing as the structural component. Now that we know how to measure exertion during a race or workout, lesson 2 asks the question, how do we build racing ability? The answer is by doing workouts. Any workout can build ability, but your workouts should be deliberately designed to achieve a specific ability building purpose, whether, as we shall see in this lesson, for building stamina or endurance. Here are 2 ability building workouts, each mostly run at a slow tempo. Why is it that the 2-hour run builds stamina and the 4-hour run builds endurance? Obviously, the 4-hour run is twice as long as the 2-hour run. But is there another feature of their exertion that distinguishes them? We've seen that we can build stamina by training at light exertion, shown here in red. Light exertion is a slow and comfortable conversational pace that feels like you're holding yourself back. But there's a rule for building stamina. Intensity should not rise above the comfortable level on this intensity scale. Let's consider the intensity component of exertion next. From the perspective of intensity, discomfort rises as duration increases. Thus, once the pace begins feeling even tolerably uncomfortable, you know you've gone too long for your stamina building purpose. In this sense, endurance is the ability to sustain uncomfortable exertion by deliberately allowing exertion to rise to the uncomfortable level. Anyone want to take a crack at explaining or describing what's going on in this particular slide? How about this one? No questions or comments?
So I have a question, Brian.
Go ahead.
So is this graph here, does that mean like after you're slowly increasing the intensity, and then after 2 hours it becomes uncomfortable and you're still increasing in intensity and you're being able to sustain that? Is that what this graph is showing, or?
Yeah, in a way, after 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
intensity continues to increase, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what did you say now? What was the question?
Well, I just want to clarify, I mean, to say, does that mean that as past the 2 hour mark, as you're increasing in intensity, is that, I mean, that's when it gets uncomfortable, but you endure in a way, and that builds endurance? Would you say that?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. Yeah, we're not going to do a 4-hour run, and we're really not going to train for endurance in this training, other than the 2.5-hour run that we'll do. I've kind of made a decision in this training to focus on 3 abilities: stamina, power, and tempo. And so we'll go into the power and the tempo in the next couple of lessons, which I'm going to show you right away. But in this particular slide, I think that the takeaway for you is that we're going to be doing quite a bit of stamina running. So this is what stamina looks like, where we'll take that out of the picture and we're just going long. We start off very slow and then get into a slow pace and let's hold it for what we'll call a long time. So long is, let's say, up to about 2 hours. Very long is going to be after 2 hours. So we'll do 2.5, which to some of you is going to be, I would say, very long. And but I mean, 4 hours is also very long. And so it's a question of how much endurance do you want to build? Yeah. How uncomfortable do you want to get? Shall we go on? Or are there other questions? Okay, let's move.
BC endurance programs teach racer athletes how to structure 5 ability building workouts by the rules. For example, once you can do a power workout correctly according to the rules, you can repeat the power exertion structure with greater awareness, more effectiveness, and less supervision in future training programs. Power is the ability to run relaxed at race pace for the first half of any racing distance. Power also refers to the amount of muscle strength you can apply to a run. The power component of exertion is especially useful when measuring the right amount of muscle power for uphill running. You can measure the leg strength you're applying to an uphill run as gentle, held back, relaxed, pressed, forced, and strained. So how much muscle power is optimal for building muscle power in the hills? In other words, which of these 6 levels is the best level every time you do a power workout, such as this one that involves running uphill in 4 10-minute intervals? Here's the rule. All uphill running should be slow enough to remain relaxed. You don't need to press the pace in order to build power as an ability. Pressing takes more effort, it increases the risk of injury, and it's ultimately unsustainable. Lesson 4.
So there are rules to the game that I'm teaching you and the game that we're playing. So the game is, half marathon training, distance running. And there are definite rules to the exertion that you're going to be putting out during the game. And so let's go back for a moment. We'll come back to hills in a minute, but let's look at this again. Better look at this one. What's the rule for building stamina? Did you catch it?
Stamina, wasn't it slow and steady?
Yeah, that's what you're going to do, but there is a rule and it has to do with something else. This is where it
Oh,
is.
the breathing.
No.
Oh, comfortability.
Yeah. So we're trying to distinguish between stamina and endurance. And so a stamina run is a comfortable level of exertion. So it could start off at a soothing level and then build to very comfortable and then comfortable. But if you get into tolerably uncomfortable, then you're beginning to build endurance and you're breaking the comfortable rule, the stamina comfortable rule. And so this is one of the things that I'm going to, ask you to focus on during the training, during your long runs. Are you comfortable throughout? At least comfortable. And if you're not, then you're breaking the comfort rule, and there are going to be repercussions. Let's say repercussions. If you try to run, too fast, you could get injured, for instance, uncomfortable. So let's go back to hills for a minute. So what's the rule here?
Remain relaxed and slow.
You're such a good student, Candace. But actually, the rule is here, and there's a little bit more of a wrinkle to it. All uphill training should be slow enough to remain relaxed. That's the rule. Do I have any, are there any questions or any issues about this? Okay, let's go into interval training for a minute.
Lesson 4 anticipates the tempo workouts you'll do in a BC endurance training program. Tempo is the ability to run comfortably at race pace for the first half of your goal race distance. Since comfortable race pace running is the ability you want to build, it's incumbent on you to practice comfortable race pace running. As you may recall, comfort is an aspect of the intensity component of exertion. Tempo training, as opposed to speed work, is generally marked by relatively high mileage at relatively low intensity. Since intensity rises as duration increases, you'll need a way to keep intensity from rising above the comfortable level. Again, you'll have to consider the exertion structure of your tempo workouts. For example, tempo intervals could be 2 minutes long, as they are here while training at 10K race pace, or they could be 12 minutes long at marathon pace. But their common feature is the comfort you experience during the tempo and the recovery intervals. Remaining comfortable during tempo training should be your constant and major focus. Thus, the tempo training rule requires you to adjust your tempo interval duration so intensity never rises above the comfortable level. The faster the pace of your goal race, the shorter your tempo intervals have to be to avoid even tolerable discomfort.
Okay, that's, I hope, getting us in the ballpark. Are there any questions about the tempo training rule?
So tempo is like an interval. So it's like running at a particular speed for like the 2 minutes and then more of a relax. So it's, I mean, how does that really go? Because I mean, based on your spreadsheet, we're doing like say 3-5 minutes, or so what does that look like, for instance?
That's what we're going to work on this Sunday. And what it looks like is, you know, the 2 minute aspect of this is, we're going to aim at 2 minutes, but the really important thing is that you practice the pace of the race that you're training for, which is a 10K to begin with and a half marathon ultimately. So somewhere between the 10K pace and the half marathon pace, let's say, is the pace that you want to work on during the interval workouts. And so let's say that it's, you know, for the sake of argument, whatever your 10K pace is, you know, let's say 3 minutes per quarter mile, or 12 minutes a mile. So that's the pace that you'll run at during the intervals. Now, you won't necessarily know what your pace is unless you have a GPS monitor or measured course. You could set that up for yourself, or you could just kind of ballpark it and say, this feels kind of like my 10K pace. And the question then is, during the 2 minute interval that you're doing, are you becoming uncomfortable or not? If you're becoming uncomfortable, you're either running too fast, which may or may not be true, or you're going too long. And so let's assume that, in fact, you are running at your 10K pace, then you're probably running too long at 2 minutes. So maybe we would shorten the interval from 2 minutes to 1:45, or maybe even 90 seconds. But the point is that you get the constant tempo stimulus, during every single week, except unless you're recovering from a race. You'll get the constant tempo stimulus so that you learn the pace and your body gets used to running at your 10K pace comfortably, so that you can hold the pace, that pace, for at least the first half of your race. That's what tempo is. The ability to go at your race pace for half your racing distance, the first half. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, we're back to let's break the lockstep for a minute, please. I wonder if you would mind just saying a few words about yourself, who you are by way of introduction, so that other people can get a sense of who you are and what you're about in this training. What are you thinking at this point in terms of what your goals are and whether you think this might be a good fit for you? Anybody want to start?
Hi there, I'm Candace Fox. I just participated in Brian's little running group that he had before the holidays. At the moment, I'm actually very interested in doing the Hapalua half marathon. So I'm excited to do this training with you guys. It's definitely one of my goals. I am an owner of a healing school. I have students worldwide. I was looking at working on my fertility, but since some things have changed and now I am ready to do some full-on workouts. So thank you, Brian, for offering this. That's it about me.
That's a lot. Thanks, Candace.
Okay, I'll go. Hi everyone, my name is Sherry, and I guess I ran in Brian's group. Besides the marathon training, I did more of the trail running, which I really enjoyed. And I think what I'm excited, and I'm actually doing I'm signed up to do the Hibiscus half marathon, which is in May. So I thought this would be a good way for me to really get back into that training kind of mode, which I've been kind of relaxed. And I suffered a lot last year because I did the Kauai half marathon virtually, and it was very tough for me. So I realized I didn't have that, and I do need to like work on my skills and understanding more about running. So thank you, Brian. And just having the proper kind of coaching and support by others too, even if it is virtually, and maybe hopefully at least once a week in person. That's really nice. And I do miss running with people, so I think that'll be motivational. And I'm an educator, so
What do
yeah.
you teach?
Right now, it was science, place-based, INA-based education. But now I work with teachers, so I support teachers for a nonprofit. So yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This is Ada. I'll go next. My name is Ada, and I did Brian's marathon, or his last what was it, fitness or marathon training, virtual training, and I enjoyed it. I didn't actually do the marathon. And I am joining again because again, it's for fitness for me more so than an actual race event. So, and I like getting together with other people, even though it's virtually. And I'm glad that our weekend workout looks like it'll be Sundays, so I can make Sundays. So that'll be nice to see everybody in person.
Are you let's see now, Sherry is going to do the hibiscus half marathon. That's on the 29th of May. And there's also a 15 kilometer, which is 9.3 miles, and a 5 mile race. And so, you know, there's a possibility that we could go on and train for hibiscus. But it's at the moment, there are a couple of things that have to happen. And so one question that I'm asking Ada is whether you're interested in doing the races that are set up in for this training, or whether you want to opt out. And either way is okay with me. But I just want to get a sense of whether you're thinking about doing them, or whether when you say you're into just, you know, doing the training for fitness, whether you don't want to do the races. Do you have a sense of that yet?
I have, yes, it's like, I think 10Ks. I think there were some 10Ks that I could see doing, but not so much half marathon.
Which is why I asked about or
marathons.
Yeah, I understand. Which is why I pointed out that there is a 5 miler associated with the hibiscus half marathon. So you could do the training and even the extension and stay within the half mile, I should say the 10K race range, you know, so that it wouldn't be beyond your interest, let's say, or, you know, what you want to do. Karen or Mark, do you want to jump in?
I can go. So I've done Brian's last one, the marathon training. I had gained some weight, and I needed to improve my health because I guess I needed to exercise more, eat better, and this was a way to start my fitness. I've done the 10K. I've done 2 virtual on a marathon. I want to try the half marathon, and then if that goes well, I'd like to train for the marathon. Oh, and I work for the city as an accountant for the DMV. So that's it.
Karen was one of our inspirational people in the last training because of her. She's losing weight and she's getting her what are they called, the numbers under control, blood pressure and other indices of health and fitness. And so, you know, she's changed her diet and she's taken on exercise. She did the last 2 virtual Honolulu marathons, and she did the Start to Park 10K this time as well. So yeah, we're really proud of you, Karen, and she's also committed to doing, well, she's going to do the half marathon, and then she's going to do the 50th Honolulu marathon at the end of the year. Right?
Yep. That's my goal, and it'd be awesome.
The in-person 50th.
Yeah.
None of this virtual stuff anymore.
So it'll be great. But definitely need to train because yeah, they're very long.
Yeah, the marathon is a very long event. You want to jump in, Mark? I think you might be the last one here.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Valencia, and congratulations to Karen, especially. I love hearing stories like that. Good luck on your health journey, and congrats on your progress. But I started with Brian in 2015 because I am in the Army Reserve and I just hated running, and I needed to get ready for the Army physical fitness test. There's a 2-mile run. It's a very short run, but causes a lot of stress for people in the Army. And I just needed the motivation to help me train. And so I wound up doing year-round training with Brian. And I ran 1 marathon before joining him, but I run 4 since joining his training before the pandemic. And I don't know how many half marathons. There's like 2 a year. So there's probably 8 or so of those that I've done, plus the 15Ks and the 18Ks. Wait, am I saying that right? No. Is that right? 15K. Yeah. So just been a tremendous help. I'm really sad that you're not going to do the training anymore, but I'm glad that I'm here because I have they've changed the Army.
Mark, if you can hear me, I think you might have hit something and maybe muted yourself or what, I'm not sure. Candace may be able to tell us.
I think he froze. His screen might froze.
Yeah, his Wi-Fi might be off
Hmm.
or changing.
Mhm. If you can hear me, Mark, we'll carry on without you for the moment. Okay. I want to deal with the issue of the schedule for a minute and get a sense of what your desires are, if you will. So there are 2 questions. One, do you want to train on Monday, Wednesday, late afternoon, or Tuesday, Thursday, late afternoon? You have choices. And if you decide Monday, Wednesday, we have a problem because I have a commitment on Monday at 7 o'clock in the evening, and that means that I have to be out of my house by 6:30. So the question is whether, oh, there you are, Mark. Mark, you want to finish up?
Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I just was saying that I have an Army physical fitness test in April, so I'm back to get myself motivated again for that. Plus, I am going to do the Hapalua, so just looking forward to learning.
Have you been able to pass the Army physical fitness test?
Oh, I always pass it. It's just a matter of how fast I can run. I try and perform as well as possible. I don't know that I'm ever going to. There's 6 events now, and they give you a range of like 60 is passing to 100 in each event. So to pass the 2-mile run, I think I only need to run 21 minutes, 21 minute 2-mile. But to max it, you've got to run it in 13:30, which is like 6-minute 45 per mile pace. And I don't think I'm ever going to do that. I'm too heavy to run that fast. But I think I think I can get down to around 14. So that's the goal.
7-minute miles.
I could never run that fast over more than 2 miles. I mean, I run very slow for the half marathon and marathon.
What Mark doesn't really show from what you can see, but Mark is a big guy. He's muscular, strong, and when he says he weighs too much, yeah, he's not a skinny guy like a lot of runners, but if the Army ever gives you a break on your weight, you'll ace that thing, no question. But of course, we know that the Army's got its own ways, I guess. Thanks, Mark. Let's go back to the issue here. Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday? Any strong feelings, preferences?
Tuesday, Thursday works for me.
Tuesday,
Me too. Tuesday, Thursday.
that'll work for me too. So then, let's see now. Let's say we go on the weekend. Your options are Sunday morning, Saturday evening, or Sunday evening. And when I say Saturday or Sunday evening, I'd like to suggest we meet at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon instead of, 5, whatever it's going to be on Tuesday, Thursday. Could be, most people want to usually do 5:30 in the afternoon. Do you want to do 5:30, or do you want to do 5, or do you want to go 6? Any strong preferences there?
This is Ada. As long as it's a Sunday, I can be flexible with the time. Whether it's 7 or 5:30 or anything.
5:30 on the weeknights?
5:30 on the weeknights, Tuesday, Thursdays, and then Sundays, it can be either 7 a.m. or 5:30 p.m. That would work for me.
So we have kind of a proposal on the floor, or on the table rather.
Brian,
Go ahead.
I kind of want to do the Sunday morning, as much as I don't want to say that because I like sleeping in, but to just be race ready and have that ability to train at that hour is, for me, a good idea.
Is there anybody that has a church commitment or any other issue with training early in the morning on Sunday? Which is okay with me, and I'm sure probably other people as well. Mark, you're freezing again. Do you have something to jump in on that, or I should say something to add? Okay. I'm going to hold that open for a few minutes. And we have to remember that there are other people involved. And so, let's say that, Mark, are you there? Let's say that we meet on Thursday evening at 5:30. We'll have another discussion to, confirm or iron out maybe the details if there are other people that have issues with meeting on Sunday morning, or Tuesday, Thursday in the afternoon for that matter. Because here's the deal. We've made decisions, at this point in the training before, and then people started dropping out because the schedule that we set up actually in reality didn't work for everybody. And so we want it to work for everybody if we can. And so if there are any issues that you or others have, we'll talk about them and see if we can either compromise or figure out a way to make it work for the most people. Okay. Okay, hang on. What time is it? 8:20. So I've got, let me take 10 more minutes, if you will, please. I want to show you the website and talk a little bit about different things there. So I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, this is the new BC Endurance Training website. And let's go to the sorry, go here. One thing that I'm really proud of is the our 1 minute introductory video. So I'm going to show you that too.
BC Endurance Trainings is an adult training and education program aimed at transforming athletes of 5 fitness levels, including non-athletes who are transitioning to the rudimentary fitness level, all the way to advanced racers who are striving for racing mastery. Transformation is the process of changing habitual ways of training from ineffective and harmful to sustainable, injury-free, and joyful. Regardless of who you are as an athlete, we have a proven training program that will address your fitness needs and goals. The BC Endurance website is your gateway to one of 5 transformational programs that can increase your competence and confidence, whether you are focused only on basic fitness or running your best marathon. Start your transformation today.
There's a 3-step enrollment process, and that involves choosing your fitness level. You've already chosen racer level. And then there's the sign up for a call part of this, where newcomers can sign up and talk to me to confirm what level they're at. And then the veterans, most of you are veterans, familiar with the system, then you can go to the pay deposit link here. So when you come back in, I encourage you to pay your $50 deposit as soon as possible, and that way we can begin the training. The start dates are over here. Our group is the 16-week Haupalua training, and that's what we're starting off here with. Now, that introductory video just showed you one of the things that I talked about there is the habits that will form in this training. And so here are things that you can read about in terms of the advanced fitness level for racers, and the habits that and prerequisites. I'm not going to go into that right now, but you can read that for yourself, and I'll talk about it during the excuse me, during the first couple of weeks during the workouts.
You have to press X. There you go.
Why join the training, a little bit about me, and so on. Now then, as soon as I can get you all signed in, I should say, let's see now, most of you have access to the member part of the training area. Sherry, not yet, and a couple of 3 others, like I don't think Mark, you're in there yet. But I'm going to give you, I'll send you the your entry passcode or whatever it's called, so that you can come to this fitness level 4. This is our page for the training. And so it'll include announcements and how to access the workouts by through the phone, telephone. So we'll give you a phone number, and you'll dial that number to get into the workout with me and the other people that'll be part of the training. And so it's a long telephone number. You just put it into your contacts part of your cell phone and dial in when the time comes on Tuesday and Thursday, and you'll be in with the other people in the workout. Our communications app is Slack, and you can join it by clicking on this BC Endurance Slack app and putting it on your either your cell phone or your tablet or your computer. And so that'll be your way of communicating with other people in the training when instead of using email. There are resources, a packet of different things. I want to call your attention especially to, let's go down to the packet, sorry. The rehabilitation and injury protocol. So if you click on that, it'll show you the injury protocol. And again, I'll talk about it in the first couple of weeks, but I want you to understand and know about this, because if you get injured or if you feel some kind of a pain, let's say, during any one of the workouts, especially in the beginning, you have to know what to do to get rid of the pain as quickly as possible. And basically, it's just slow down. And but there are other things to learn. And this is something that I want you to pay attention to. You can learn about gear, racer habits, our schedule. I haven't put it on yet, but it'll be in there very shortly. Other aspects of the training you can learn about. There's a syllabus for the lessons that I was showing you earlier. By the way, that course that I showed you earlier is the short course. I'd like to take some time early in the training or within the first few weeks anyway, to go through the whole thing with you. We'll take a 90-minute session on a Saturday or sometime and go through that. It's an introduction to the longer course. Okay. 2 minutes left before 8:30. Is there anything that comes to mind that you would like to talk about before we sign off? I know you guys are very busy, and I really appreciate your sitting in on this session. I hope that I was able to present some stuff that answer questions that you may have had coming in. And I also want to thank you very much for being here and willing to at least consider this training, and I hope that you do it. I'm very excited myself. At the start of every training, I create a schedule, and this was no different. This particular training, the schedule that I just showed you, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really a good one, and I think it's going to take us where we want to go in terms of doing either the 10K races or the Hapalua, or no race at all. That's up to you. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thanks, Brian.
I'll be in
Night,
touch tomorrow,
everybody.
by the way.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.